Alright, guys, I'm going to quote what Hughie Fury had to say. And here, Joshua is world champion, so you cannot take anything away from him. But I fancy that fight. After this, I'll be knocking on his door soon enough if he still got hold of those belts. The sooner the better for me. Hopefully, it will come get in the mandatory position, and then that fight will happen. I'm ready for that fight. Whenever. He's never fought anyone like me. No one has ever fought anyone like me. A different type of heavyweight to what you're seeing. And you're going to see a different Hughie Fury again this Saturday night. Everything is there for me. It's just all falling into place. I've got everything, and the longer he leaves it, the worse it's going to be. I'm 23, and the older I'm getting, the more mature I'm getting. Heavyweights don't fill out until they're 26. I'm nowhere near my prime, but you see I've got the experience and everything behind me to be the world champion. When I do get them belts, my plan is to hold them for a very long time. So that is what heavyweight contender Hughie Fury had to say. He says that he fancies his chances against the reigning unified champion, his countryman Anthony Joshua. He says that Anthony Joshua has never seen anyone like him. Matter of fact, he says that no heavyweight has ever seen anyone like him. He says that he's only 23 and he hasn't reached his prime yet. So as he gets older, he's going to get better. When it comes to me, when it comes to Hughie Fury has technical ability, right? When you look at Hughie Fury, he knows how to move, right? He knows how to move. Matter of fact, he's really good at boxing, right? When you look at Hughie Fury, he's a boxer. He's the definition of a boxer. You want to see a heavyweight that boxes tall and uses their footwork and uses their, foot speed and keeps away from his opponent. You want to see that? Look at a Hughie Fury fight. Look at that, because you see him, he's throwing a jab, he moves, he slips. He's really good with his feet. But the problem with Hughie Fury is he has a couple of problems. One of the problems he has is he's not a puncher. He's not a puncher. He's never been a puncher, right? This guy has, I believe either 10 KOs or less than 10 KOs. So he's not a puncher. And since he's not a puncher, whoever fights him, they're not going to respect him. They're not going to show fear in what's coming back from Hughie Fury. When Joseph Parker fought Hughie Fury was moving, right? But look at what Joseph Parker did. Joseph Parker was coming forward against him with no fear. At no point did you see Joseph Parker, try and keep it, at a minimum where he's going after him. He was trying to catch Hughie Fury. At no point did he show any intimidation. No matter who fights him, no one's ever going to show intimidation to Hughie Fury because he doesn't have no punching power. That's one of his problems. The other problem he has is he doesn't have, I think maybe it's because, his trainers, maybe taught him this way, but he doesn't. In boxing, you cannot just depend on the judges. When it comes to Hughie Fury, I feel like he feels like in his mind that he's just going to outbox every one of his opponents and he's going to leave it in the hand of the judges. You can't depend on the judges all the time. He depended on the judges when he fought Joseph Parker. You cannot win fights without being offensive. So like I said, he mastered the whole, style of hit and not get hit, right? Hit and move, especially movement, He's perfected that, really, for a heavyweight. But he hasn't perfected the other side. In boxing, you need to have that side where you have a dog in you, where you are willing to exchange with your opponent, where you back your opponent up. Where you push him back. It's good to move around the ring using your footwork. It's good to not get hit. But there comes a time and a place where you have to fight the guy on the inside. You have to, especially if you're fighting for a world title. Demetrius Andrade, perfect example. You look at Demetrius Andrade, he has the ability to box, right? You look at him, he moves a lot, but he has a dog in him. You see him, and he doesn't just move. He goes in, and he lets his punches go. Hughie Fury's own cousin, Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury, these days, or at least before he went into exile, he was, he's known as a boxer, right? He moves. But I've seen the dog in Tyson Fury, right? I've seen Tyson Fury fight on the inside. When Tyson Fury fought Steve Cunningham, he fought him on the inside. Look at Tyson Fury versus Steve Cunningham. That wasn't the same Tyson Fury that fought Vladimir Klitschko. The Tyson Fury that fought Vladimir Klitschko was, hit and not get hit, was defensive, was slick, was moving. Look at the Tyson Fury that fought Steve Cunningham. That Tyson Fury showed the other side of boxing and his other skill set. He was trying to walk down Steve Cunningham. He wasn't doing, I'm going to just box you. No, he was trying to walk him down. And that's what he eventually did, right? He eventually broke down Steve Cunningham. So Tyson Fury, although right now he's currently known as a slick fighter, Tyson Fury has shown me that he has the ability to switch, to switch when he needs to switch, right? He could fight, the long defensive style, but if he needs to do it, he will change his style and fight in the inside against his opponent. Like I said, that's something that Hughie Fury has to discover. I just feel like he's too content with, I'm going to just outbox everybody I be fighting. I feel like that's what he'd be thinking, right? I feel like he thinks I'm just going to outbox you, I'm going to outbox him. He says no heavyweight has ever seen his style, but heavyweights aren't going to be afraid of his style. Because like I said, they know he's not a big puncher. Normally when you're dealing with a big puncher, that's when fighters are cautious, because they know this guy, if he hits me, he's going to hurt me. But when it comes to, for example, if Joshua were to be fighting Hughie Fury tomorrow, Joshua is not going to be afraid of Hughie Fury. Joshua is going to be the aggressor in that fight, right? You will see Hughie Fury moving, and Joshua will know in the back of his mind, this guy doesn't have punching power. If you remember, Joshua predicted that Joseph Parker would knock out Hughie Fury, and the reason he was so confident, he was confident in that. He was like, I picked Joseph Parker to win by knockout. The reason why is because he saw Hughie Fury, and he probably thought to himself, this guy has no punching power. Joseph Parker is probably a bigger puncher than he is. He's not going to be afraid to walk him down. He's probably going to just come forward and walk him down. Joseph Parker couldn't take out Hughie Fury, but he showed at no point no intimidation of Hughie Fury's what was coming back from Hughie Fury, basically. That's going to be the same scenario when it comes to Anthony Joshua. I think Anthony Joshua is a bigger puncher than Joseph Parker. But like I said, I think maybe because Anthony Joshua does have some issues with moving, I wouldn't be shocked if Hughie Fury lasted long. I wouldn't be shocked if that fight went several rounds. But I think that because the way to beat somebody like Fury, you have to pin him down. When you pin him down, that's when you beat him up. Whenever Hughie Fury was in the corner, and when he fought Joseph Parker, whenever Joseph Parker would let his combinations go and Hughie Fury was pinned in the corner, that's when he was beating him up. That's when he was catching him with shots. So I think the way to beat Hughie Fury is hit him to the bottom to slow him down and pin him against the ropes. When you pin him against the ropes, that's when you let your combinations go. Muhammad Ali was an expert at moving too. In his prime, he was always known as the fast. He said himself, I'm the fastest thing on 2 feet. He was the fastest thing on 2 feet, right? Why? Because he would move. He would use his footwork. He would move around the ring, right? But look at how he lost. How did he lose? He lost because he fought a guy in Joe Frazier who was a lot shorter than him, right? Joe Frazier's 6 feet tall, 5'11". Ali was about, I believe, 6'3". But if you look at that fight, what did Joe Frazier do to beat Ali? He put the pressure on Ali. Ali was moving like he normally does, but Joe Frazier was pinning Ali against the ropes, and he was going ham on Ali's body, he was murdering Ali's ribcage. And he slowed down Ali significantly like that. And whenever he would pin Ali against the ropes, he would just start letting his hands go, and he would beat him up. When Ali fought Sonny Liston was never good at cutting off the ring. Sonny Liston was more of a guy that he preferred you coming to him, and then he'll knock his opponent out. But Sonny Liston wasn't the fastest on his feet, and that's why Ali was able to just outbox Sonny Liston. And what's his name? Sonny Liston was so frustrated because he couldn't catch Ali. But when it came to Joe Frazier was an expert at cutting off the ring, right? That's what he liked doing, and that's what he did to Ali, and that was the blueprint on how to beat Muhammad Ali. It was cut the ring off on him, throw body shots, and really hurt him down and smother him, and he smothered Ali. And that's the exact way. And the difference, though, is the difference between someone like Ali, though, and someone like Hughie Fury is Ali actually was offensive. It wasn't like he was just moving around the ring and, wanting his opponent to come to him, and then no, he would do that, but he would also do a combination of be aggressive and be offensive. It wasn't like he was just moving around the ring. But like I said, that's how everyone's gonna be, in my opinion, Hughie Fury. And especially because he's not offensive enough. So I think what he has to learn, Hughie Fury, as a fighter, is he has to learn that he has to be aggressive. He has to be aggressive. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has to be aggressive. Do I think he could become a champion? I think he has the skill set to become a champion, but I don't think he has the dog to become a champion. I just don't. I don't think he has that dog to become a champion. And I do not think he has the punching power to intimidate anyone at heavyweight. At least Klitschko, he was a long-reigning champion, but Klitschko had punching power. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. I don't think he has that punching power to intimidate his opponents, and I don't think he has the necessarily dog that you need to basically keep opponents off you. And that's all I have to say. It's kind of a lengthy video, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. And as always, if you watch the video from start to finish, much appreciated. Much appreciated. Do appreciate that a lot. And yeah, guys, thanks for watching. I'll hit you back with more boxing. As always, I'm out.